The following podcast is an enticing media production. Thank you for listening to this podcast. You are now socially obligated to pour yourself a drink, and welcome to the Drunk Squirrel.
I'm glad I noticed it now.
Yeah, and that's the fun bit. Now we have to try and recreate that sincerity. No, we don't.
But we don't recreate anything.
It's all original. It's all a hot mess. And you know what? Before we get too far into the bottle,
Oh yes, we do this a lot.
which is why I'm saying, you know what? Let's put this up front.
Okay, I'll let you do the honors since you brought this.
Yeah, I brought this. This is I've had this before, and it was just one of those things. Okay, what the heck? I'll bring it again. And it is Mid-State Distillery's Pennsyltucky whiskey. My voice got really loud there.
Pennsyltucky, huh?
Pennsyltucky.
I think it's Pennsyltucky. The term is interesting because I had not heard the term Pennsyltucky before. So our brother-in-law, Nell's sister's husband, Tim.
Yeah.
They live down in outside of Ocean City. He used the term for the first time, at least for me, when he was saying, "Oh, that's right, you guys live up in Pennsyltucky," and I'm like, "Well." I was like, I've driven around the outskirts of Ocean City, and come on, man.
Well,
y'all shouldn't be making fun of anybody.
Yeah, well, Ocean City's a little more southern, but
It is. You get to the eastern shore. There's some mush mouth areas.
Yes, there is. So
Just saying.
I grew up with that, where it was, except instead of Pennsyltucky, we always said it's Western Pennsyltucky.
Western. So there's Pennsyltucky and Western Pennsyltucky.
Right.
I'm getting schooled right now.
One way I also heard Pennsylvania described is, you've got Pittsburgh, and then you've got Philadelphia. And I do disagree with this one. I strongly disagree.
Okay.
And then you got Alabama all up in the middle.
That's not true, actually. Now,
Yeah.
There are some areas.
Yeah, and that was someone from the deep South. I was like, no. I've been in the South. We ain't got none of that there Alabama blood up here.
No, and I was just in Alabama a few days ago. Well, not a few days ago, but a week ago.
Don't get me wrong. Alabama is beautiful. I've been down there.
Yeah.
But
We'll talk about that a little bit.
we need
about the area that we were in, because we explored some new areas of that area, so to speak. So
yeah,
we'll get to that
one of these days. Gumbo.
Oh, Nell makes good gumbo, by the way.
I want to hear you make gumbo.
No, I don't make
I
gumbo.
want to see you make gumbo.
She does the roux and the whole thing.
You've got those Louisiana roots.
Yeah, I do.
You got to make gumbo.
Can we make it together? Is that acceptable?
You and Nell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Wait, what am I going to do? Tell you not to make things with your wife?
No, it's just she's really good at it, and she has nailed. My grandma used to make gumbo. My grandma being from Opelousas, Louisiana, so she used to make good gumbo. Sometimes I think that, not sometimes, I always think that I wish. I was young at the time, but I wish she would have been able to make it the way she wanted to make it, because she always would say, "Oh, I can't make it spicy up here because the people don't want it." But part of me wishes that we would have been able to experience that.
Your cat is headbutting the... Okay.
Is Lucky drunk? Did she tap into the Pennsyltucky?
I don't know, but there's in-studio entertainment.
We do. No, there she is. Okay, I don't know what she's doing.
Sorry, it was just funny. Your cat was headbutting the door.
I saw this, like, you paused, and I'm like, what's the pause coming from? You're looking at the closet door.
Something's coming out of the closet. Oh, wait.
Oh, boy. We're not going there.
All right, but making the gumbo with your wife, there is something, speaking from my own experiences, there's kind of something sexy to being in the kitchen and doing something like a nice big meal together.
I enjoy it. Normally, she does the technical work, and I do, like, the chopping, if that's fair.
Yeah, no.
But I mean, she's much better with the technical aspect of blending flavors and all of those things, where, I mean, I can cut up an onion and some sausage with the best of them. Just saying.
See, it's interesting. When Melinda and I cook, we both have different kind of specialty. She does a lot more and a lot better with the baking side of things.
Okay.
But I'll do the cooking, and it annoys her to no end. I go a little more like freestyle with it, where it's, okay, yeah, here are the ingredients, but I'm going to add a touch more of this, that, and the other.
100%.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the best way to cook. Nell's really good at that, too. I'm not as good at that as she is, but part of me just throws things together sometimes when I'm cooking just because I've seen her do it.
Yeah.
And, it doesn't always work, but...
There is something to it. And there's something to being in that space with a spouse that...
Yeah, it's spending time together and, just without the rest of the world, honing in on everything is just cooking.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah. All right, that was a nice little...
Yeah, I didn't know we were going to go there.
Did we know we were going to go anywhere we're going to go today?
I didn't know we were drinking Pennsylvania bourbon until you walked in the door. So
I wasn't sure we were going to drink it either, but...
honestly... I had bought that fresh bottle of Captain for Jeff's visit, and honestly, I thought we might crack into the Captain, because one thing I've been wanting to try is Captain and ginger ale.
Oh.
Because my mother-in-law drinks Captain and ginger ale from time to time, and I don't believe I've actually had it. And I have a 2-liter of ginger ale down there that Jesus brought over one time. It never opened.
Yeah.
And I thought, that'd be something new.
Okay, so my opinion is it's got to be a good ginger ale, though.
It's like Seagram's or something.
Yeah.
It's not...
You got to get some, like, Verner's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, did they make ginger ale or do they make ginger beer or both?
I don't know if they make ginger beer, but they make ginger ale. It's like a Chicago.
Do we have some of that here? Did you bring some of that here?
We had it when we had the Presbyterians with Pastor Robin.
I wonder if there's a few cans down there.
I don't know.
I really don't know.
Don't.
There's a lot of random stuff down there.
I don't raid your liquor fridge normally.
I don't know why. Craig does. It's first place he goes.
That's Craig.
Speaking of Craig, little funny story. Before we get into this, so before they went to Switzerland, he stopped over here. Oh, I know. He stopped over to drop off some brisket because he had a whole bunch of leftover brisket.
Yeah,
right?
That was Sunday after the church picnic.
Yes, yeah,
and that was some good brisket.
It was good brisket.
Oh my gosh!
But he messages. He's like, "Hey, you want some brisket?" He's like, "I have a whole brisket," and I'm like, "I don't want the whole thing. We're leaving in a day and a half to go to Florida." But I said we will take some. But, hopefully somebody else will take some. So he brought some over, and he was here. Lexi was along, and, Lexi hopped in the pool for a little while because Nell and I were floating in the pool. And he went downstairs, and he grabbed a beer. And he comes up, and he's like, I got a Cape May beer, and he cracks it open, right? And I'm like, it's 95 degrees outside. You're going to drink a porter? And he goes, this a porter? I'm like, do you read the can? He's like, I just saw Cape May. He's like, it'll be fine. He takes like 2 sips out of it. He's like, yeah, I can't do this. I was like, just pour it away and get a beer suitable for the summer.
Now, I will say this. I would be that guy. I don't like IPAs. I don't do light beers in the summer. I like that good.
Really?
Like porters or...
you know who you would like to hang out with? Randy.
I've been told.
Well...
And we've been told we need different levels of clearances to have conversations with him on the podcast.
Well, I'm hoping coming up in the next couple of weeks, since we were talking about this in the kitchen before. We were talking about a lot of things in the kitchen, and then we
made the mistake of starting a conversation.
Yeah, you were like, why don't we turn these microphones on?
I know. We're idiots.
Yeah, well, I'm an idiot.
We are idiots.
Okay, yeah, we are.
This is attested to by our wives. We are idiots.
They would both agree.
There's no doubt.
But anyway, I think that they're going to be in town for a week-ish coming up in the next couple of weeks. I think maybe the first week of August, possibly.
Okay.
So if that is the case, let me see if we can't wrangle Randy for a conversation.
Yeah, I've got some church stuff, but I've got some pockets of time in my schedule.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's so we'll just see if we can make it work at some point.
I have had some interactions with Randy, and not a lot. So I mean, I want to get to know him a little bit more. I want to hear some of the stories. I want to talk about model railroading.
Oh well,
I know.
God, that'll need to be 3 episodes. Once you get him going on that, and I don't doubt that he'll bring over a nice bottle of bourbon as well because he has tons of it. So, yeah, that would be a fun episode.
Well, and we've got some other guests that we're working on and trying to figure out timings and schedules, and yeah.
It's honestly, I feel like it's been our schedules, maybe my schedule, that's been the problem lately.
No, it's been both, because July has just been
Yeah, it has.
I don't know what July was without using expletives.
I mean, yeah, because it's what are we 3/4 over?
Yes.
And we're like, when did it start? I feel like we were just celebrating the 4th of July.
All right, so put a pin in that because I'm going to throw a curveball I said I would at you.
Oh,
all right,
cool. Let's do it.
And I don't know. I'm going to kind of pick random things and maybe do this more often.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to start with a great easy one for you today.
Oh boy,
Friends trivia.
Oh my. You put some thought into. Are you scripting our podcast?
I am not scripting our podcast, but I'm feeling like, Kenny's Nuggies of Wisdom curveballs are not the only curveball I need to be throwing at you right now.
This is a good type of curveball, though.
Well, I figured it.
Yeah.
So it was either going to be Friends trivia or NFL trivia.
Ooh, both acceptable.
Well, we'll maybe the next time around.
Okay.
Or even let a guest throw some trivia questions at us.
Well, if we're going to do NFL trivia, maybe as we get closer to the season.
Okay, I got to tell you a story about that. I was put to shame, but we'll get there.
Okay.
All right, who said it? Oh, I wish I could, but I don't want to.
That was Phoebe.
Okay, good job.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember I was trying to remember the episode, but yeah, somebody asked her to do something. She's like, "Oh, I wish I could, but I don't want to."
Yeah, I'm just going to throw you random
Okay.
trivia questions as we have the conversation.
Okay. I'll be disappointed in myself if I don't know the answer to every single one.
I tried to find a hard quiz.
Because we watch a lot of Friends.
Yeah. Well, I know.
Almost every night before we go to bed, so.
I could get none of it, so you're already ahead of me.
Okay. But I got the first one.
Yeah, 4th of July. It was 2 weeks ago, but was it really?
That seems to be, that's what the calendar's telling me.
I know.
But you guys we missed Craig's blowout, and, I know you said really good things about it.
Yeah, I mean, so there was the pool party we had as the church, and then there was Craig's big 5th blowout. That was a blast. We've been doing music week with the church. You've had a whole bunch of travel.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been like wild, crazy travel, but I mean, we're in Philly the one weekend.
You got on a plane. That's already the starting of wild, crazy travel.
Okay, we were on a plane once. Yeah, but we were in Philly with Jessica 4th of July weekend, and then we were just in Pensacola for Sandcastle's grand opening of their new space. So that was fun. Yeah, got to the beach and
you did some live shows down there.
We did our live shows from the actual Sandcastle radio studio.
Pete, we heard you coming in and out. We made sure to lock the door so no Pete will appear randomly.
Yeah, and and speaking of Sandcastle, we're going to attempt to coordinate Debs on the podcast since we already had Pete here.
So we did music week at the church.
Yeah.
And there's a musician that I brought in twice this summer now, Holly. I want to bring her in on the podcast.
Let's do it.
She's fun. She's phenomenal. She does kid stuff, but she also does some adult stuff like ukulele and
cool.
And she's a former educator, which are always fascinating to have on.
That seems to be like our thing. A lot of educators gravitate to the Drunk Squirrel podcast. I'm not sure why.
I don't know. Do educators need a drink? Pour one out for...
I feel like people that work in ministry also need a drink, though.
Why do you think there's communion wine? Oh, wait.
Wait, there's alcohol in that stuff?
Yeah, I think I've told you this before. I grew up in the Episcopalian church, and we always kind of jokingly called it Whiskipalians. Because if the communion wine wasn't strong enough, the whiskey was under the pulpit.
That's amazing. Well, it's like the Presbyterian thing where there's 4 Presbyterians, there's a 5th.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that before also. So
that's a good one.
Well, so here we are.
And you've got the Lutherans and their beer, and
That's apparently church people like to drink.
I'm trying to remember. There was a good one I had, and I can't remember it, about Methodists, because they can be teetotalers, so they never acknowledge each other in the wine and spirits store.
Oh, so they don't. They are, but they don't want to be known as that.
Not always.
It's telling me? Okay.
It's a very broad generalization, but I used to have a good joke on that, and I can't remember it right now.
Maybe it'll come to you.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe not.
Who cares?
Or maybe it'll come
Speaking
to
of which, why is Jesus watching me?
All right. So while we were away in Pensacola, our friend Jen is she lives in E-Town. She has an apartment in E-Town. And so she's been spending some time in the pool with us on the weekends. And it's awesome because when you have a pool, you want people to be in it, right? Because that's what it's there for. So while we were away, we told Jen, we told Jesus, we told Shorty, hey, if you guys want to hop in the pool, come over, hop in the pool. Here's the code to get in the house. And, Shorty already knows it because he's the one that installed them. But he's the one that set the codes.
Okay, let's be honest. If you ever wanted to, change careers to something more shady, Shorty's probably the guy to know because he knows how to get into probably half of the houses.
I'm certain because I would imagine that they're putting pads and things like that on most new houses that they're building.
I don't know, but I mean, he's built like half of this county.
Yeah, they seem to have caught, that's not the right word. They seem to have really carved out their niche in the custom home market because all the big builders, they want to pop up homes in developments that all look the same because that's where they make their money.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with Craig's house. And, he was talking casually in conversation. He's like, I can't find anybody that even wants to give me a call back on, doing this custom home that we want to do. And I'm like, well, here, call Shorty. I don't know where I'm staying out of the middle of it, but at least have a conversation.
Yeah.
And it seems like now they're trickling into doing a lot more of that stuff. So it's cool.
Well, and they've done some good work.
Yeah, they have.
All right, why is Jesus watching me, though?
So when we came back from Pensacola, we have a text message thread going on, and he said something along the lines of, I left a present for the Kenneth. He calls me the Kenneth. So there's that. And so he said, I left a present for the Kenneth. So I found that hanging from the shower head in my shower.
Oh, man.
It is for those of you, this is not a video podcast, so it is a Jesus Rodriguez, better known as Ricardo Rodriguez, formerly of WWE. It is a doll.
Action figure.
An action figure. And he now hangs from my computer monitor and watches me as I work.
We'll put pictures up on social.
And Jen has one, but it is a stuffed doll. It's like a voodoo doll looking thing. So, yeah, and he put that on the back seat of her car without saying anything. And he put this in my shower without saying anything. So I felt like it was better having him watch me work rather than shower.
Yeah, I would not disagree. Oh, man.
Speaking of him, all right, I got a little funny story. So we went to see Twisters last night, right?
Yeah.
We went to Ray Azteca.
Wait. Sorry. You went to see a movie.
Mm-hmm.
You realize that you normally don't watch movies.
I do. But there was no not watching this movie because Nell is a big time Twister
You went
fan.
to a movie.
I did. We don't do that very often.
Good job.
Yeah, thank you. But there was 9 of us.
Yeah,
Hey,
so you went to
Jesus-
see Twister.
Yeah, Jesus is one of them. And we ate at Ray Azteca, which is a Mexican restaurant that's pretty much right next door to the movie theater in Palmyra.
Yeah.
And so we're 9 people at this big table. Everybody working there is Mexican, right? And so we're all ordering. There's 8 white people and a Mexican, right? And so we're all ordering like white people do. We can't pronounce anything. We don't say anything properly. So it gets to Jesus, and he starts ordering in Spanish, right? And this dude didn't know what he was saying. And I'm like, I'm not convinced that this guy knows how to speak Spanish. And Jesus was like, it's funny. So I'm looking at the clientele. I'm thinking almost nobody comes in here and orders to him in Spanish.
Yeah.
But he literally placed his whole order in Spanish. I had no idea what he ordered. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, what did he just say? And even the waiter had to go over to him like, what? And it was funny because the waiter legitimately spoke Spanish.
It sounds like we need to take Jesus to, what was that grocery store that Becky brought the empanadas from?
Yes, I need to let him order our stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take it. Brothers Food Mart.
Yeah. I've been in there since then and got empanadas, and I did the whole, like Becky was talking about on the episode, I did the whole point because, yes, the old lady behind the counter where they have the prepared food doesn't speak a lick of English. And I don't speak a lick of Spanish. Bad combination.
You've had fresh donuts in town.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
They're amazing.
They are amazing. I don't know what happened to her, but Mama, the little old Korean lady who used to be there, didn't speak good English, but she was always great to interact with. I think
some of the younger folks have kind of taken it over a little bit. Yeah.
That was pre-pandemic since I've seen her, but that was another fun one. Yeah. Just how we interact when we can't communicate. It's always interesting.
They're a bunch of the whole family dynamic with the Fresh Donuts place. They're cool. We know some of those people. Yeah. And I don't know that I ever said that on the podcast, but we ended up, we were out with Jimmy and our friends Jimmy and Sherry. I used to work with Jimmy for Jimmy. I don't know how you want to work for his dad. Yeah. But we were out one night and we ended up at one of their parents' houses. They're like, oh, we're going back to so-and-so's parents' house. Okay. We just walk in and it's like 10:30 at night, right? And there's this giant wok on the stove full of fried rice. Oh. And I'm like, this is absolutely amazing. Because now, we've been drinking and it's like a whole pile of fried rice looks amazing at 10:30 at night when you've been drinking.
Yeah.
And it was like the best fried rice you've ever had.
I'm sitting here and Melinda and Addie have a babysitting gig this evening. Ray got back from scout camp, so it's just him and I.
So it's just the boys tonight.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here going, you know what? Maybe I should get some Chinese food tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Go to
we're gonna fight.
Why? The fried rice at Misago is really good.
Okay, yeah, Misago is not bad.
The fried rice there is super good.
So, okay, where I lived, the county I came out of before here, there was no Chinese food restaurants anywhere.
I'm sorry.
And well, let me rephrase that. There were buffets.
Not the same thing.
And they're not good buffets. They just weren't. So when we moved here, and it's okay, wait a minute, there's like Chinese food all over the place. And we've got one out where we live that is amazing. I mean, it's the one that I would prefer to order from.
Where is that one?
East China.
Where is that in Myerstown?
See, now you're making me think. Okay. All right, so if you're...
it's not that overly important, but I was curious.
Right,
I didn't know there was one in Myerstown.
It's right by Tosco.
Oh, okay.
It's just down from Tosco.
Okay.
It's East China. It's part of... Or it was part of the family that was North China, South China, East, West China.
Yeah.
Those restaurant chain. Well, family chain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was out there, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And they're good. Now I want sushi. Thanks. You said Misago.
Now well, they have good sushi, too.
I know.
Yeah. A lot of times I would get like a sushi roll and some fried rice.
Yeah.
And, oh, man, what a good meal that is. But, yeah.
We keep coming back to food.
Well, I'm hungry. That seems to be the problem here.
Yeah. I had lunch before I came over, and now I'm hungry.
I had a little bit of lunch before you came over, but I did eat something because I knew we were going to be drinking something. And I do know that randomly you show up with, a bottle in your hand, so which is a good thing.
Hey, I haven't showed up with Everclear yet, so.
Oh, God. Thank God.
You know what? That should be like one of the trivia things of, oh, you fail? Here's a shot of Everclear. How long can Kenny last?
Oh, I'm glad we don't have any Everclear.
So. What is Joey's agent's name?
Estelle.
Ugh.
That's an easy one.
Yeah, the only thing I can ever think of, I can't even name her, but the Chandler. I can't do the voice right.
Janice,
Janice,
yeah.
yeah. It's the only one I can think of.
Oh my God. I don't think I got the voice right, but
That was one of the conditions on marrying my wife.
You had to be able to speak like Janice?
No, I had to watch Friends.
Oh.
I had to watch Friends and Gilmore Girls.
Nell was big into Gilmore Girls, but I really haven't watched any of it.
I watched them.
Was it good? Did you watch Dawson's Creek?
No.
Oh, you should. It's awesome.
You know what I watched last night?
What did you watch?
It was Mel and Addie had a babysitting gig, so it was literally just me and the dog. So I was like, screw it. Breaking out the 1970s action movies. I watched Mad Max.
Oh, wow. Goodness gracious. Now, see, I've seen that movie.
I went through and I watched Mad Max and Mad Max 2.
So was Ray with you?
No, he was still at scout camp.
Oh, yeah.
So
So you were legit a bachelor.
Yeah, I was like, I have not watched.
Were you sipping?
Yes, I was.
Oh, of course. Okay, good.
Yeah. I was.
Not that that's pertinent information here, but I mean, it kind of is.
So I was also multitasking because I had a video game going as well.
Wow. You're watching a movie, sipping, and playing video games.
More listening to the movie and just mindlessly shooting space aliens.
Could there be any more of a male evening possible?
I don't know, but it got depressing because then my dad sends me a text and it's, a kid and he's thinking about smoking a bong, and his dad says, "Oh, that will lead to greater addiction." And he goes, "All right, fine, I'll just go play a video game, sit in the dark, and be depressed." And I'm sitting there in the dark playing a video game. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So did it just? You're like, maybe I need to go smoke a bong.
No. But it's like, wow, that's very targeted tonight.
You're like
sitting in the dark alone playing video games.
Rob's like, I feel attacked. I feel attacked. Is there a camera on me? Does he know what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Oh man. What? How?
Which part? Like we're at 40 something minutes?
Well, no, not yet. We're 27 minutes into this, and I don't even know what we talked about. I'm gonna have to.
We just shot the wind to catch up.
Yeah. Well, we did talk about this where in my head, and kind of I think your head was also here. Like we need to catch up because it's been a bit.
It really has, and I mean it's great when we can do those like chunk recordings and have a stretch where hey, the drunk squirrel is going, everything's set, but yeah, it's also good to come back, lift the glass again.
It is, I feel like they always, what do they say? The absence makes the heart grow fonder. I mean,
I love you, man.
I love you, man. In these situations, though, I feel like it's true, though. I mean, like, you're busy, and this is just a nice kind of reprieve from, like, the busyness, because this is, we're doing something that's requiring our time, but it's fun.
Yeah, and it's a good connection and use of time. It's not just a waste. All right, who said, I mean, sure, I have my bad days, but then I remember what a cute smile I have.
Oh, boy.
I'm hoping that one trips you up.
That one has tripped me up.
Great. Where's the Everclear?
I'm going to say, and I don't know the answer to this, so I'm going to say Rachel.
No.
It's Joey, isn't it?
You want to take one more shot at it?
Joey was going to be the next.
No.
Oh, shoot.
Wow.
I can't even remember what episode that would have been from.
Chandler. Now, you're not allowed to go back and watch for it.
I mean, I feel like I need to now, but I'm not sure how I find it. What do I just Google the line?
I mean, that's what I would start with, is just Googling the line.
Well, maybe. Google does know everything, so.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm sure it'll be the first thing that pops up.
Yeah, okay, so wait a minute. Blue screen of death yesterday.
Oh, man. That was something, right?
All right. I'm going to ask a couple questions. This is, you and I do a thing when we have a guest on, and we always kind of set a parameter starting with the episode of are there any no-go topics?
Yes. We do always ask that's the one thing that we script, so to speak.
Yeah. And we've kind of had an unspoken no-go topic. which for the majority of things has been fine.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk religion, but we don't talk
politics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We normally avoid that.
Yeah.
There have been some current event things.
I feel like it's relevant though.
So you're good talking?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It doesn't. We're not taking sides here. But it's a conversation. It's real.
Yeah.
So. Okay.
I'll toss my political opinion out there first.
Okay.
I don't care who wins in November.
Mm-hmm.
It's the American people losing.
That's 100% true. If this is what goes to, if this is what comes to the election, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
So
even if, and you may know this now because this episode's coming out in a week, even if things change this weekend with one of the candidates, it's the American people losing.
Yeah, it's what a sad political time we live in.
Yeah.
Because even going back to, I saw a clip of the debate with so Barack Obama and say what you want about Barack Obama. I mean, your political aside, like he was
not a bad president.
No, and he was a good, like, you weren't, what's the word I'm looking for here? You were not embarrassed to have him represent himself, like walking into a room, having him represent your country.
Yeah. And there's plenty I disagreed with what Obama did, but it's,
with every president you're going to.
Well, exactly. And he wasn't bad. He wasn't horrible. I feel like right now, the candidates we keep getting are like these weird extremes.
Yeah, I feel like that's what things are pushing us towards is it's got to be extreme one way or extreme the other way. But I think it was Romney and Obama, their debate, they met at the center of the stage. They shook hands. They went to and they had their differences of opinion. Which
there was a civilness
which
to
is
it.
what they should have.
Yeah.
Because you're choosing between them, and you should be able to know what their differences are. But like you said.
Yeah, there was a civilness to politics back then. But
yeah, they were laughing, and, it was just like, now it's just personal attacks and just...
It's disgusting.
It's like...
It really is.
This is what I'm watching?
But and I think that really kind of epitomizes what we saw a week ago, 2 weeks when you're hearing this, with the assassination attempt, which
is disgusting,
and
regardless of your political side.
I'm sitting there, I'm like, crap, that's in Butler. I mean, that's just north of where I grew up. That's just south of where I started my ministry time in.
100%.
What's wrong with... Okay.
Yeah, we as Americans, like, we're a little older.
Yeah.
But we heard about the Kennedy thing, and of course we all know there was the attempted assassination on Reagan.
Well, and you were alive for that one.
I was.
You were all of what, like 3, 4?
Young, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just like, that's a moment in time. That's a moment in history that is like, what is going on here?
Yeah,
and it makes me wonder, like, back with, like, in the Kennedy days and then the Reagan days, which, like you said, I was young for, like, what was the political climate at that point? Because we don't know.
So
we didn't live it.
In 2016, I don't know, it was kind of a neat pause in my life and education at this time. I was working on my Master's of Divinity, and we had to do a retreat for one of the classes down in Gettysburg.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, I'm going to get up really early. I got up at like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Oh, goodness.
Drove down to Gettysburg, watched sunrise on the battlefield.
Very cool.
Walked around for a bit. And then when the museum opened, I went in. And this is like September, October of 2016. I walked around the new museum at Gettysburg for a good hour or two. And part of what they were displaying was the politics of the election right before Lincoln's assassination. And then even further back, the politics right before, the Civil War. And it was interesting because it's, okay, wait a minute. There's a lot of contention in all of the rhetoric that they're displaying, that they're pushing, the articles that existed back then. And this is nothing new. The only newness about it is the speed at which we receive the information.
That's a fair assessment.
And it's almost like this swing where we go to these wild extremes, and then we become centrist, and then we go to the wild extreme, and then back to the... I don't know.
Yeah, I think obviously, I say this, but I mean, somewhere in the middle is probably where we should be most times.
Yeah.
And it seems like that's not where we're allowed to live anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we can disagree.
Yeah.
And it feels like we forget that often.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I'm hoping that with everything that has happened in the past week, we kind of start as a nation pulling back a bit.
Yeah, it would be nice.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, and this is probably like the only time you and I will talk politics.
I hope so.
I mean, even in our private, personal conversations, this is not something we dive into.
Well, I don't dive into it with anybody, really. I mean, because I actually prefer not to.
It's draining.
Because, it's like... Because at the end of the day, it really doesn't, personally affect us that much.
Now, I will say, I mean, the Drunk Squirrel, my intention with this was that I wanted to create something that was we can have a conversation with everyone.
Correct.
Which, I mean, watching you...
Here we are.
Here we are, but I mean, watching you are like a perfect fit for this because you literally are like, hi, my name's Kenny. We're new best friends. Where do you live? I'd like to move right next door to you.
Well, that'd be weird.
It's like how you interact with everyone.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like maybe.
You are just a friendly guy.
I am. And I mean, I just don't, I just want to be like, just go with the flow, It's like, really, I don't want to have some of these conversations because I don't really want to disagree because I want to like you. Not you personally, not you in general, but like whoever it may be.
Well, and that's why I prefaced it with, we have this boundary that we create when we have a guest on. Mm-hmm. So it was, all right, if you object, we'll move on. We'll never speak of it again.
Sure.
But
yeah, because this is a safe space here on the Drunk Squirrel.
It would not qualify it as safe.
Okay, maybe it's not safe. It's probably not safe.
It's a space where you will be seen for who you are.
Yes.
And it may get a little chaotic and dangerous, but we will laugh and have fun throughout the process.
Yeah. Which is what we did today. Oh, my.
All right. Last question.
Okay.
Blue screens of death.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't. We
started
you
with
brought
that.
it up, but we never finished.
Yeah. Well, and it was one of those, wow, there's been a lot just in the past week.
Yeah, there really has.
Like, all right, so blue screens of death. You as the travel expert, did you watch the flight maps yesterday?
I didn't watch the flight because I didn't realize what was happening until I woke up the next morning when it was starting to recover. So not live, I did not, but I do have a story for you.
Yeah.
So, well, okay, you want me to tell it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'm listening.
All right. So I mentioned earlier that Lauren is in town. You know who Lauren is when I say Lauren. She was flying on Thursday. She flew from Tucson to Dallas. She was delayed in Tucson, which I don't think had anything to do with the blue screen of death because it was before that. But she ended up in Dallas, and she just kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And she ended up getting into Harrisburg on Friday morning about 5 a.m.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So we actually have, and she's here. We were with her last night. We actually know somebody that was traveling in that. And she said that, they were definitely when they boarded the plane, she said, and she didn't know this was going on at the time because some of this kind of trickled out overnight.
Yeah.
When they boarded the plane, finally, they didn't do, so when you board the plane, you have your boarding pass and there's a little scanner thing that you scan before you hit the jetway. They were scanning your boarding pass with like a portable device.
Huh.
And I'm thinking that it had something to do with that because that is part of the travel experience that it affected.
Okay, so kind of on that note, a little, but not the blue screen side of thing. My parents got back from Italy.
Oh.
And we're sharing stories about their travels. And one of the neat things that Dad was telling me was that, okay, I say neat, but there's also a degree of, that's kind of scary. Apparently, when they went through TSA check, they scanned the boarding pass and they scanned their passports, and that's it.
Yeah.
As you're going on the jetway, they're not scanning anything. They have a camera that just scans and makes sure, nope, you're good.
Oh, really?
That was it. Because they didn't scan their boarding pass. They didn't scan
to
passports.
So they didn't to get on the plane.
Right.
So it was facial recognition.
There was a facial recognition system that they were using, and if it pinged you, they pulled you from line.
Yeah.
But that's how you got on the plane.
I haven't experienced that yet, but it may be an international thing.
Well, and that's what he was saying, where it's they scan the passport and they scan your boarding pass, and that's it. Once you're past TSA, that's the last time you use it.
So they know who's there,
which is kind of cool and also slightly terrifying.
Well, I mean, that's what it's all going to that.
I know.
It's so when we checked into our flight, when we went through TSA, I forget if it was, I think it was in Philly. I gave them our identification because you hardly ever show your boarding pass at TSA anymore. Yeah. Like, it's just like they don't even care because once they know who you are, they know what flight you're getting on. So they scanned. I had my passport with me that I was using for my identification, and so I scanned that, and they take a photo of you. They said, "Look at the camera." They take a photo of you, and then through you go. Well, so no boarding pass, no. But this was at TSA, not at the plane. Not at the gate, basically. So.
Yeah, but that probably means they're watching you as you're getting up to the gate, stuff like that. Yeah,
of course they are.
And the advent of AI, and there's a whole nother conversation.
Well, yeah, and it's we could have a whole other conversation about travel, because Nell is now convinced that TSA PreCheck is a scam.
I heard that when you guys were. What was that? There was a radio show you were talking about that.
Yeah, we've had nothing but weird experiences since we've had TSA PreCheck, and it's just
Kenny, they just wanted to check you.
Well, one time this time they did definitely caress my inner thigh, and I may or may not have enjoyed it, but that's not part of this conversation. It's just been very weird. It's like they say you don't have to take your belt off, right? Okay, cool. You don't have to take your shoes off. All right, yeah, cool. And then they say Nell said she heard somebody saying, "Well, do you have this type of shoe?" And they're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, it has metal in it, so you got to take them." I'm like, "Well, whose belt doesn't have metal in the buckle? Like what?"
Some women's belts, and I only know that because your wife said it.
Well, yes,
in the radio show.
You're right. But here was the thing: in Harrisburg, I went through TSA PreCheck, and you just go through a metal detector. You don't do the normal scanner.
Yeah. My
belt buckle set the metal detector off. So I shit you not. Now this has to be explicit. They sent me back through. I took off my belt. I handed it around the metal detector to the guy, and then they handed it back to me as I walked through. I'm like, how is that more secure?
There's an argument for security theater.
Yes. Because once I took it off, I could have hit you with it. Because you're probably more secure with me wearing it. I'm just saying.
All right. Two things.
Theater is a good word, though, that you just used. I like it.
It's part of what it is.
There's a lot of theater that goes on in everyday life.
There's some interesting technology, though, that's coming out with how they are trying to make places secure. Mm-hmm. And I had an experience with one recently. I had a procedure done, and nurse comes in and...
Did you get a penis enlargement?
No, I got the vasectomy finished.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not near as fun.
Yeah, no. Anyway, the nurse comes in. She's got the IV that she's going to stick me with, and she turns this light on to shine down on my hand. And all the veins on my hand suddenly pop under this light. Yeah, it's like I forget what it's called. It's like vein view or something, but it uses a frequency of light that can scan just under the skin, and then a second frequency of light to display where the veins are.
That's wild.
I was sitting there and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. What is this magic?
This is magic.
And she's like, oh, you think this is cool? She sticks me and you see the needle go in. She turns the IV on.
Oh,
you see the IV go start going. I'm like,
I'm good, fam. I don't need to see the needle going in.
I watch every time. You're going to stick me with something, I'm watching you.
No, I don't want to see it.
I want to see it.
I don't want to see it.
What are you sticking me with?
Yeah, no.
But it was just, holy crap. We have technology that can scan just under the skin.
And the people in the government will be like, we can scan down to your soul from miles away.
Well, but that's part of it, where it's so we've been doing Hershey Park a lot this summer, and they have, instead of metal detectors, they have this new system that it's a scanning system that does something. It can like ping spaces in your bag, and
oh wow. So they don't do like a dig through your bag thing?
They can scan your bag, and if it pings, oh, hey, there's something suspicious, then they pull you aside, and what's in your bag?
Wow.
It's not even like the X-ray tech. You walk through this, and it's scanning. What do you got underneath? Yeah. Is that a cod piece, or
is that? What are you smuggling?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting security tech, and the government's behind and ahead.
Yeah. I just feel like it's just. I feel like in some cases the government's, well, maybe not the government, but like the TSA in general, just dealing with the travel thing and being in the different airports that I've been in, it's like you just don't know what you're gonna get depending on what airport you go to, and it's weird because sometimes you'll go through the whole thing where Nell will be like, she'll get her liquids bag out, she'll get her laptop out, and the guy will be like, you don't need to do that. And then the next one, you'll just throw your stuff up there, and they're like, get your laptop out of the bag. It's like, make up your mind. Make up your mind. Like, what are we doing here with TSA? Are we doing this or are we not doing this? It's different from day to day, and it's different from airport to airport.
All right. We went some places.
Yes.
That we don't normally go. We're a little more lighthearted than this 99% of the time. So we're going to do two things and then a third. And land this.
You could have just said we're doing three things.
Two things, then a third. I like that.
Okay, well, good, because I'm almost out of bourbon.
Chandler couldn't remember which of Joey's sisters he kissed.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Which one?
Oh, shit.
I like how you were like, oh, yeah, he couldn't. What's the question?
Yeah, somehow I knew what the question was, but I didn't want it to be that question. Yeah, I don't remember.
Mary Angela,
yes.
When Monica's cooking got a bad review,
yes.
Which fish dish was called out specifically?
Wow, this is a hard one. This you found the hard ones.
I went for the hard ones.
Yeah. I remember this episode because she literally had the guy that left the review at the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know the answer.
I even remember that
But
episode.
I don't know the answer to which fish dish.
The mahi-mahi. Which the food critic called awful.
Yes. And then later he still called it bland. When when he was at her apartment, he told her it was still bland. You got me, Rob. Good job.
Hey, finally. And the third thing.
Yes.
Kenny's Nuggies.
Oh, God.
You even have a logo now for Kenny's Nuggies of Wisdom.
I do?
Yeah.
What's that?
Check the social media on Wednesday. The inspirational quote. Warm Nuggies of Wisdom.
I saw that. I even commented on that, too. I'm like, oh, it's Nuggies? Wow, you're really going to get me on that. I thought with all of the Friends trivia, you weren't going to do this to me.
I was thinking about it for a moment.
And then I thought that.
It felt like with how serious we got there with security, politics, and current events, it was, we should probably do.
All right, so I got something. Nell and I were just talking about this earlier, actually. So whatever it is that you're doing and the people that you're around all the time, right? So if you're doing something, whether it be your job or whatever it is, you're trying to build something, and the people that you're just around all the time, sometimes it feels like you're not getting anywhere, right? You're treading water. It's just like, this isn't going anywhere. Nobody really knows what's going on. Nobody knows I'm doing these great things or I'm working this hard or any of those things. Remember, there are people outside of your normal circle or just the people that are in a couple mile radius that are noticing. Because one of the things we talked about is we're in this, like, we have our small hometown here and we're doing all of these things. And, you see people out and all they know you as, or all they know me as, oh, he used to work on my car, those types of things. Have no idea some of this other stuff that you're doing. But then we ended up in Pensacola and we were walking down, I feel weird even saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway because it seems relevant to the topic. We were walking down Palafox Street out towards the water, and there was a car coming the other way down the street, and the woman rolled the window down and yelled out, "Is that Kenny and Nell?" And I'm like, what the hell just happened here? We're literally halfway across the country. I guess I'm just saying it's working. What you're doing is working, even if it doesn't look like it in that small bubble that you're around and in every single day.
It's funny you say that because I had a conversation this week kind of along those same lines.
Mm-hmm. I'm interested to hear it.
Yeah, I love my job,
mm-hmm.
but there's an abstraction that happens with ministry because it's okay. Is it working? Is it truly working? Are we making a difference in the community? And, the things we're measuring are years instead of instantaneous. And there's an element that I miss of, I used to cut trees down.
That's instant gratification.
It is. We're, here's the job. We go, we do the thing, we go home. Job's done.
The tree's there, the tree's gone, and I'm leaving.
Exactly. And I earned my pay for the day. So I get it. I mean, especially in the long haul of things, whether it's your building or creating or just seeking to make a change.
It can feel on a day-to-day basis, it can feel like you're not getting anywhere. You're not doing anything. You're not reaching the people you're trying to reach. But you probably are.
You just don't know it yet.
You just don't know it. Because nobody's saying anything.
Yeah. And hey, I mean, I've heard this word and phrasing specifically with you of King of Trop Rock. Just saying.
I think you started that though.
Maybe.
You've heard it because you've said it. No, and that's not where I was trying to go with that. But I mean, it's just interesting because it's easy to just see the day to day. And then, just have that moment. It's like, holy crap. People actually are paying attention.
Well, and I'm saying King of Trop Rock because I've seen those changes. Like, you're getting pretty hot on that circuit. There are changes that are happening that I get how they can be invisible, but I mean, you're doing some amazing things.
Well, it's just fun.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm having fun. And,
And that fun is going to continue to grow, and that's something else.
And when you're having fun, you attract other people that want to have fun, and because they want to have fun alongside you, and then you can have more fun, right?
Yes.
So anyway, I don't know what else to say.
But that's good.
That's
good.
That's my nuggies of wisdom for what it's worth. You put me on the spot, and that's what I came up with.
I always put you on the spot.
It is interesting though, because Nell and I were having that conversation earlier, so it felt relevant to use it there.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
that might be another drinking conversation.
Yeah. I think we're gonna wrap this up.
Yes.
Rob and I are gonna have a little bit more bourbon because we've been again left to our own devices.
Unattended. We did wear headphones.
We did wear headphones
for your protection.
There's been no headphones have been harmed in the recording of this podcast.
And Nell, that did save us at the beginning of the episode because we had a mess up. So
yeah,
see, it worked.
So, but anyway, All right, Rob. Well, thanks for coming over today. It's been nice catching up. I was really looking forward to this episode because it's been a bit.
It has.
And I was looking forward to just catching up with you a little bit because sometimes that gets lost in all of this.
You know, there's a pool party coming up.
Yeah, what is
Last
that?
Sunday.
That's next weekend.
Yeah.
And it's a packed weekend, but Sunday's actually pretty good, I think. So
come put some toes in the pool.
yeah, I think after next weekend, it's going to be necessary because it's a busy weekend.
Yeah.
Next weekend because Demo Derby next weekend.
Oh,
that's big doings
that's
here
right. It's the fair.
in Lepton County. And they've invited. Well, okay, so all right, we're not going to wrap this up. We're going to wrap this up. They've invited Three Legacies Wrestling back.
Did they?
So Three Legacies Wrestling is doing, I don't know the details of it right here. We will post them on our social media. It's going to be too late once you're listening to this anyway. However, they've invited Three Legacies to do, and Three Legacies is doing a free event prior to the Demolition Derby next Saturday.
Nice.
So I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 o'clock or something in the North Hall. They're going to have the ring set up, and they're going to have a few matches for the people at the fair and come into the Derby. They can come in, check it out. It's completely free, family friendly. Again, none of that matters because this episode's going to air
a little too late,
it's over. But it's a cool thing that they've been invited back to do that. And so anyway, so we're going to hopefully do some of that. And we're going to go to the Trop Rock Fest early on Saturday, then Three Legacies. Then the Demo Derby, because Sam's son is running in the Demo Derby. It's full circle.
Nice.
Because we used to run in the Demo Derby as youths.
Yeah, I still want to do a Demo Derby.
Oh, you should.
I want to.
Maybe you should just do like the tough truck because it's less work.
I kind of want to do the Demo Derby, though. I want the hits.
Craig did it.
I know Craig did it. And you did it.
We can make it happen.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. That would be fun.
And the drunk squirrel can be all over the side of the demo car. You know what? We may have just come up with something. We are going to have a drunk squirrel enticing media demo derby car.
We're going to have to figure that out, yeah.
And we're going to let you drive it because you haven't. Nell's done it. Craig's done it.
That's
and
right.
I've done
Nell's
it.
done it.
She has. So you're the last one, so you have to drive.
I can't jump out of a plane, but I can wreck a car.
Let me tell you, it's fun.
I know.
It is really fun.
I love the demo derbies.
It's really fun. Yeah, as much fun as it is to watch, it's so much more fun to actually do. So,
all right.
Anyway, we're going to wrap it up. All right, Rob, thanks for hanging out. Let's go pour another bourbon and talk a little more.
Yeah, and hey, hit us up on the socials. We do post there. We have some fun stuff going on. And yeah.
And if you think you would make a good guest for the Drunk Squirrel, hit us up.
If you don't think you would make a good guest for the Drunk Squirrel, come have a drink and find out how good a guest you are.
We are literally open to talking to anyone. This is an all-inclusive place to be. We'll talk about whatever it is you want to talk about, and plenty of things you don't want to talk about.
And you can urgent us on plenty.
Yeah. So hit us up on the socials. What is it? Drunk Squirrel 82.
Drunk Squirrel 82. I think that's the Instagram handle. Wow, I'm suddenly doubting.
I was
links are all on the.
I was talking about email though. Is it drunksquirrel82
at
gmail.com?
The email is drunksquirrel82 at gmail.com.
Yeah. Find us, get a hold of us, come on the show.
We write back.
Let's have a drink together.
Yep.
All right. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to The Drunk Squirrel. No need to pay a tab. Just be sure to follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and drop us a line, thedrunksquirrel82 at gmail.com. Cheers.